Yo guys, what's up? It's D Fantasy here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best decks for this upcoming format, okay? So, let's, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get straight into it. There are a lot of decks in this format that can be potential meta contenders, but I had to line them down just to this list. But these are mostly the main decks you're going to see going into the 2020 format for this month. So starting off is actually control decks. So now that they took out spirals by banning Master Plan and limited again the trap, that really hurt the consistency. Even if they just banned Master Plan, that deck is pretty much dead now. You know, you can't even play tough control now because they do have one spiral rescue, mission rescue, which is the trap card again, where they loop it with Master Plan, right? And then Master Plan recurs your resources. In this case, back row decks have increased in power due to the fact that spirals isn't so prevalent in the format, when they're pretty much gone for the format. And that means pretty much like combo decks in general have been checked. So that gives back row decks and trap decks more of a boost to make their way back into the pie chart for the meta. So, you know, any decks like Guru, Altergeist, maybe not True Dracos, but we'll see, because that diagram hit in the card of the mice hit was pretty bad, was significant, sorry, but they might sneak in there a couple tops, and you know, just back row decks in general. You know, sadly I have here Mystic Mine as well. They didn't ban Mystic Mine, they didn't limit Mystic Mine, so be prepared to actually see this pretty much everywhere, because shoutouts to YGO Paisano. He did a market watch. I was watching a market watch yesterday actually, and this card spiked from $5 to $8 in a matter of like two to 3 days. So that's insane. So be prepared for this. Make sure you have your spell and trap removal in the main deck, because if you don't, this card can outright win games, and you will be salty for a good reason, but sadly it's part of the game. So any back row decks, this is 5. Number 4, I have Pendulums. Shout out to Triff Gaming. Pendulums are insane now with this card. This card that came out in Dual Overload, which is Selene. So basically Selene Turbo. Hold on. This card is nuts. Okay, so you can hold as many spell counters on the field, equal the number of spells on the field that are on the field and in the graveyard. So that counts your scales and plus your draw cards. Since I'm going off Triff's theory. So shout out to Triff. But basically his deck is turboing out draw, right? Correct? So you're gonna have a lot of spells in the grave, making this card rack up at least like 12 to 15 counters. And you can special summon Mighty Master back from the graveyard multiple times, because this isn't a hard one to turn. So the fact that you can spam out Selene's and put out Omni Negates and in general, and just a bunch of main deck negates, now you're not so heavily relied on your extra deck. So this card can put up like 3 to 4 negates easily, and that's minimum, okay? So this deck is a big threat. So just keep on lookout for this. Keep a lookout for this deck. Deck is on the radar. It's gonna sneak up in there. Number 3, we have Dinos. Dinos did not get touched. It is one of my favorite decks, I'm not gonna lie. Let's just say Tyranno, in my opinion, is one of the best boss monsters, main deck boss monsters in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so this card says you can special summon, cannot be normal summon set, must be first special summoning by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, okay? And the fact that this card is 3,500, it's a level 10, and it just takes 2, it's pretty easy to summon just by banishing 2 dinos. And then it could destroy another card on your field. One monster on your field, sorry. Including himself, he can destroy himself to flip everything face down. And then he does 1,000 damage and sends to the graveyard is insane. Guys, be careful because Lost World is a freaking hell of a card. It protects from targeting. They have triple miscellaneous and a freaking insane boss monster that's level 10. That if they manage to put 2, it's pretty much game when they put out 2. You know, they're mainly an OTK deck. But they can also, on top of that, of having all those effects, they can overlay into Gustav Max, which is nuts. And then if they want to, even more, they can go into Gustav Super Dreadnought Lieb, the rank 10 train that attacks with 6k and can attack multiple times. Guys, insane, right? Keep a lookout on this deck. They can also Turbo VFD if they wanted to. Calamity, so just keep on the lookout. Be prepared for this deck. Now, number 2 and number 1, guys, I had a very difficult time picking which one, but I had to go with this order. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Shaddoll Invoked. Okay, Shaddoll Invoked. Invoked didn't get touched. Shaddolls didn't get touched. This deck is insane. It can play through multiple hand traps. It can play through Nibiru, and if you try to stop the Invoked engine, they can just go through the Shaddoll route. To stop the Shaddoll route, they always have the Invoked engine. So this deck has a bunch of extenders that can play through hand traps, multiple hand traps, and can play also through Nibiru, and set up either go for the OTK going second with the Invoked engine with Purgatrio, or set up going first with Makaba, Winda, and you know, Kaliga or Ragin. Construct is not once per turn, so every time this card gets sent to the graveyard, doesn't matter how, it is going to add back a Shaddoll card, small trap from your graveyard. So you can add back. This deck is combos after combos, guys. Construct is one hell of a card. So just keep on the lookout for this deck as well. Coming at number 1, guys. Last but not least, I had to give it to Rocket Lynx, guys. Rocket Lynx, Dragon Lynx. Sorry, guys. I've seen this deck played online. I've seen it played in real life. This deck is insane. This deck could play through Ash. It could play through Nibiru. Guys, this deck is nuts. I'm telling you, it is number 1 in my opinion for this format. Guys, this deck is actually crazy. It ends on Abomination, a Chain Abomination, or an Appaloosa with Borlo Savage. And so guys, you guys gotta be careful. This deck is not a joke. I know I said that for all the other decks, but this deck is extremely potent and can set up negates going first, or it can OTK you going second. Just be aware for this deck, guys. Rockets is no joke. I've seen it played in real life. I've seen a lot of good players play in real life with this deck, and this deck is actually insane. Yeah, guys, that's it. You know, Rockets take it for this format. I will give some honorable mentions though. Some other decks that got a huge boost from this is actually Blackwings. Full Armor Master is a pretty good, a pretty beast of a card actually. You know, there's ways to get around it, like you know, like sending effects and non-targeting effects. But this card is actually insane. You know, level 10, unaffected by card effects, and when the monsters your opponent controls activate their effects, they get wedge counters, and then you could either take control of it in the end of your turn, or destroy them on the end of your turn, which is insane. And the take is permanent. So Blackwing's got a huge boost. One of my favorite decks is actually Burning Abyss. Burning Abyss got huge boost with this. PK Fire is going to make a comeback as well. And I hope we get Seer and Graph off the Forbidden Limit list, or off the limited list, sorry. Next list, because this deck is going to be nuts. It is a contender. Also, Salamangrates did not get touched, so they can still they might not be as good as they are as they were in this previous format, but they are still one of the best decks that can keep recurring resources. You know, they just recur resources and do the same thing over and over and over and outgrind their opponent. So keep a lookout for this deck as well. This is a pretty good contender. And last but not least, Heroes. Absolute Zero with the acid combo is insane. You got Dark Law, which is a one-sided Macrocosmos, and you got Trinity for OTKs. And let's not forget about Malicious Bane, because that card's pretty insane as well. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's going to be the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, thumbs up, subscribe, and drop some comments in the comment section down below what decks you think is going to be the best, some of the best of the format. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the bell to be notified when I upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.